G'day everyone, welcome to Rara's Realm. I can't even say it. Rach here, or Rara, and I'm finally doing my end of year wrap up. It's the 30th of December here in New Zealand, so there's only today and tomorrow left, and I know that I won't be doing much more than what I have got on my pile today, so I'll get this video up and yeah. So I thought I would set the scene as my wrap-up video, because this will probably be something I'll look back on in a few years and see what I was doing. I started Flosstube about 14 months ago, about September, October 2017. And I was primarily at that point a one piece at a time stitcher. And I had discovered through watching Flosstube that I could have more things on the go and I could finish things. So I went into 2018 with a mind to having 8 projects, and I called it the year of the prolific stitch because it was more than I had ever done in my stitchy history prior to that. I have just lost my train of thought. So when I entered 2018, I had one WEP on the go that I'd started in November of 2017. And as I leave 2018 tomorrow, I will have 5 WEPs. And in between that time, I've started 9 other projects. So I primarily had through the year 10 WEPs, and I've finished 5, which I think is pretty good. I'm just looking at the camera thinking the lighting is really bad, but I know when I watch it back it won't be quite so bad, so I hope that's the case. It's very overcast here, but it's going to hit 30 degrees Celsius today. We're having summer for a change. So I expect all this cloud will eventually burn off and it will be blazing hot, and anyway, sidetrack. So I will go through these WIPs in date order. I think that's it. I feel very out of practice doing Flosstube. It's been about 3 weeks. I've missed the weekly routine of doing the videos, but that normal service will resume from next week, basically. So anyway, let's crack on. Stop waffling. I'll probably end up having to refilm this, I'm sure. But then you all know I do this as a one-take wonder, so... Alright, so the WIP that I brought into 2018 is Santa's Village by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I'm showing you part 3, which is the part that I am leaving 2018 on. Yeah, so I did 1 part in 2017, 2, almost 2 in 2018. Anyway, so this is been so long since I've looked at some of these projects because I've been focusing on finishes. This is the North Pole Post Office. And as you'll see, I've got very little left to do of that, so I'll get that done relatively quickly. So this is where we are at with Santa's Village currently. Parts 1, 2, 3, and I think on part 3 all I've got is the leaves and the berries on the vine below the house. So that's the day's, an afternoon stitching to get that done. In fact, I might even do that this afternoon when I watch the cricket. I'll see. Okay, so I'm going to pile all of this. So then I started a rotation in 2018. I should have talked about this before I showed Santa's Village, but that's okay. So I developed a 40-day rotation. Each project got 4 days, and originally I was aiming for 8 projects, so I had 8 free days per rotation to concentrate on one project or stitch a small or something like that. So every 4 days from the beginning of January I started a project until I had done all of the started all the projects that I had aimed to start, if that makes sense. It's been a long time since I've described that as well. Anyway, so the project I started on the 1st of January this year is Orchard Valley Quilting Bee by Little House Needleworks, which I absolutely love. I had tried I had one of this earmarked to one of the, I had this project earmarked to be finished by the end of this year. But as you'll see, there was no hope in hell. So that's where we're at with Orchard Valley. So I would say I'm halfway, really, pretty much. I've got one more box on the top half to completely finish, and then obviously the same amount again on the bottom. So this is going to be cracking when it's done. It's fabulous. Then the next project I started on about the 5th of January is The Village of Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. This, I have been saying this is my forever piece, but it has been usurped by a Haid, which I haven't started. Anyway, I don't know. This is where we are at currently. This is abysmal for a year on Hawk Run Hollow. There's lots of little fiddly bits. It does take longer than it looks, but I could probably have got a bit further along. It's also worth bearing in mind, actually, as part of my excuse, is that probably since about October I haven't actually stitched on some of these because I was focusing on getting some finishes. So that was one of the ones that hasn't been stitched for ages. The third project that I started, and I started this on the 9th of January and finished it on the 8th of September, is Harvest Keeper by Plum Street Samplers. There is plenty of border, I've just got the fabric folded up. I still haven't cut it, but I must because there's a decent amount of fabric back there. Now I've mucked it all up. And I absolutely love this. So I use the called for threads. You can't see the detail on the skips very well in this lighting, or the pink flower on her bum. I used the called for threads, but I used lamb's wool, not the called for fabric, which I think was Confederate grey off the top of my head. Okay, project 4 started on the 13th of January, and that is the Garden Club series by Blackbird Designs, and I am almost done on part 3, and this is where we are at currently for the Garden Club series. So I think I've got some bees and some border on that final edge over here, and then that part is actually finished. So, and that again, this is just stunning as well. I love part 1. I love them all. Who am I kidding? I love them all. Project 5 started on the 25th of January. So there would have been free slots in between those two projects, which is why there's a bigger date gap. So the 25th of January I started it, and I finished it on the 3rd of November, and that is the free chart Quaker. It's a free Quaker chart. Quaker in 6 parts, or Quaker R6 means I cannot speak French. And this is... I'm sure quite a few of you are screaming at the screen right now. Certainly my Stitchy group girls. This is Presidential Blue by Gentle Arts on raw linen, and it's a stunner. I haven't looked at it for a while. It's been hanging in the wardrobe to try and unfurl a bit. Let's fold that up. Okay, that was project 5, project 6. No, that must have been project 6. I'm getting confused. Anyway, the next one I started was on the 29th of January, and that is Miss Lucy Calcutt by Just Stitching Along. And that's what she will eventually look like. That's what she currently looks like. So, Lots of counting, I have to say, because there's a, if you've got this in your stash and you're not aware of it, there's a counting difference along here. So I believe that is the only one that is highlighted in the chart, but I'm being cautious and I'm making sure I'm counting everything rather than just going, okay, it's that number and away I go. So it takes a bit longer. Okay, so that was Project 7, I believe. Project 8 didn't arrive for a while, so to fill in time I did a small from one of the cross-stitch, the Just Cross-Stitch Christmas Ornament issues. I'm not sure what issue this was. I have the DVD, so I printed it off. And this is a this is called Roaming Reindeer by Blue Ribbon Designs. And I did that, I stitched that over the course of 2 days. And I really like these designs actually. There's a load in the ornament issues. So I've got plans to do some more of these. So, and then Project 8, when it arrived, I began on the 18th of February and I finished it on the 29th of December. Farmhouse Christmas is finished. Finished yesterday. And I absolutely love it. I absolutely hate the fabric still, but I absolutely love the finished piece. So I'm really pleased I managed to get that one done as well. And then Project 9 I decided to do on a whim. I'm not sure why, but I just did. It was small anyway, so I could do it in the free slots. And that was a Shakespeare's Peddler, Antique Scissors and Spools, I think it's called. And again, this is presidential blue on raw linen. And I love it. Expect to see more presidential blue next year. So that's my lot. Sorry, scratching my head. I'm really pleased. When I realised there were 10 projects through the year and I finished half of them, I was quite pleased with that because I was feeling a little disheartened that I hadn't managed to get another project, a bigger project finished. But, you know, that's okay. So I'm going into 2018 with 5 whips: Orchard Valley Quilting Bee, Hawk Run Hollow, Garden Club Series, Santa's Village and Lucy Calcutt. And then the madness ensues. But you'll find that out next week. So I hope you like that little recap. I know I don't stitch as much as some people, but I think this was a good introduction to multiple projects, having been one at a time, especially now registering that it is a 50% finish rate. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to go before I waffle too much. I'm completely out of the loop of doing Flosstube videos. But as I say, I will be back to weekly from... My next video is actually next Tuesday. It won't be Mondays as I usually do it. I will do the first video on the 1st of January to set the scene. And then I will go back to weekly after that to track record progress. The only other thing that I want to mention here, and it's the only time I will mention it, is that I have actually started a booktube channel as well. I've mentioned books a few times on this channel at the end of videos, and I've had discussions with people about books, and a few people I know are interested in that kind of thing. So I would say it once now. I'll link the first video. I think I've got 4 up at the moment. I'll link the first video in the descriptions, and then I won't bring books up again next year. So my channel, my booktube channel, is called Book Piles, all one word, BOOKPILES, Book Piles. As I say, I'll link the first video in the description below if you're interested in having a look. You do not need to go and have a look if you are not interested in books. Don't worry about it. I just thought I would share that because I know some people are. Okay, so that's me. I hope that you've had a really good stitchy year. If you know how many finishes you've had, or you know your numbers, share them with me below. And if you celebrate New Year, have a great one. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. I don't really do New Year. Although if there's a big bash cricket match, I might actually stay up long enough to watch that game and then see the Sky Tower explode in Auckland. And then, as I say, I'll be back on Tuesday. There's a slim chance the video might not go up on Tuesday. I'm actually staying... I won't be staying up to watch the Big Bash on New Year's Eve because I'm going to stay at a friend's house. Yes, so I'm hoping to be back by lunchtime on the 1st. I don't want to leave my mother too long. So I hopefully will get the video done on the Tuesday afternoon and uploaded. If not, it might not upload until Wednesday morning. And that will set the scene for next year. I hope you'll come along for the ride. Okay, Happy New Year everyone, and I will catch you next year.